At the outbreak of the war, regular U.S. Army troops in the District of Oregon were withdrawn from posts in Oregon and Washington Territory and sent east. Volunteer cavalry and infantry were recruited in California and sent north to Oregon to replace the federal troops and keep the peace and protect the populace. Oregon also raised the 1st Oregon Cavalry that was activated in 1862 and served until June 1865. During the Civil War, emigrants to the newfound gold fields in Idaho and Oregon continued to clash with the Paiute, Shoshone and Bannock tribes of Oregon, Idaho and Nevada until relations degenerated into the bloody 1864–1868 Snake War. The 1st Oregon Volunteer Infantry Regiment was formed in 1864 and its last company was mustered out of service in July 1867. Both units were used to guard travel routes on Indian reservations, escort emigrant wagon trains, and protect settlers from Indian raiders. Several infantry detachments also accompanied survey parties and built roads in central and southern Oregon. Oregon's 2nd United States Senator, Carl Edward Dickinson Baker, was killed while leading Union troops at the Battle of Ball's Bluff near Leesburg, VA on October 21, 1861. His death in battle occurred exactly 1 month after another Oregonian, Captain James W. Lingenfelter of Company B, 71st Pennsylvania Infantry, was killed while on the picket line. In civilian life, Captain Lingenfelter had been a practicing attorney in Jacksonville, Oregon. He had been visiting in the East when the war started and enlisted to serve with Colonel Baker. Oregon regiments in the Civil War: 1st Oregon Cavalry, 1st Oregon Volunteer Infantry Regiment, Mountain Ranges, Washington Guards, Fenian Guards, Zouave Cadets, Marion Rifles. Civil War posts: Oregon, Fort Dallas, Oregon, Fort Jamhill, Oregon, Fort Hoskins, Oregon, Silet's Blockhouse, Oregon, Camp Baker, Oregon, Camp Barlow, Oregon, Camp Clackamas, Oregon, Post at Grand Ronde Indian Agency or Fort Lafayette, Oregon 1863, Fort Klamath, Oregon, Fort at Point Adams, Oregon, Fort Stevens, Oregon, Camp Alvord, Oregon, Camp Dahlgren, Oregon, Camp Henderson, Oregon 1864–1866, Camp Lincoln, Oregon 1864, Camp Maury, Oregon 1864, Camp Russell, Oregon 1864–1865, Camp Watson, Oregon 1864–1869, Camp Colfax, Oregon 1865–1867, Camp Curry, Oregon 1865–1866, Camp Logan, Oregon, Camp Leon, Oregon, Camp Polk, Oregon, Camp on Sylvies River, Oregon, Camp Wright, Oregon, Old Camp Warner, Oregon, Camp Warner, Oregon,